I am very excited to jump into the world of Destiny 2. The new expansion, The Curse of Osiris, is almost available, and there's a lot of hidden lore within this universe that can help you understand all of the events in this brand new expansion. I don't know anything about that, so I decided to grab two people that do. Kalli Lang, Evan Churchill are here. There are Destiny heads, and they are going to tell me everything I need to know about the Curse of Osiris and the hidden lore found in this incredible game. I'm going to use the word incredible. What exactly is, this is a natural starting point, what is the Curse of Osiris?
We don't quite know just yet.
We don't know what the Curse of Osiris is yet. I mean, he has done some sketchy things. Well, not sketchy.
No, questionable things.
But we're not really sure what the curse is. I think the expansion is going to tell us more about that.
We don't know what the curse is, but we do know who Osiris is, at least to some extent. He went missing a long time ago when he was banished from the city. And I think that to understand where the expansion is taking off, we need to talk about what his beginnings were and how we got to this place.
Let's begin.
Well, we can start with Battle of the Six Fronts.
Yes. Okay, so Battle of the Six Fronts was during the...
It was during City Age.
Okay, so basically what happened was all of the fallen groups formed together underneath the House of Wolves, I think. I might be wrong about that. One of the houses banded together all of the other houses of Fallen and made a giant, massive attack on the city from 6 different angles, which is why it was called the Battle of the Six Fronts.
The Titan logo is a symbol of the Six Fronts.
Yeah, the hexagon shows the 6 different fronts that the city was attacked under. During that battle, there are some conflicting stories about what Osiris was doing.
Well, he appeared to be everywhere all at once. Obviously, these are tales.
Yeah, these are all tales, so some of them may be incorrect, but...
Saint 14 did see that.
What did happen was Saint 14 saw the help that Osiris provided to the city and recommended that he be promoted to the Vanguard Council. While he was part of the council, he started questioning things. There's a whole...
Well, he's a warlock, so he's curious.
Yeah, okay.
And,
warlocks are always curious about what's going on.
Yeah.
But Osiris started questioning the very nature of Guardians and the motivations of the Traveler, which is this godlike being that basically every Guardian is sworn to servitude under. Osiris started questioning whether the Traveler was actually on our side, or whether...
He was very obsessed with the darkness in relationship to the Traveler and the light. And, I mean, he was also obsessed with things like the Ahamkara and Oryx and the Vex as well. So he spent a lot of resources taking them away from protecting the city and instead diverting them into other places and things that aren't as important as a city.
Yeah. At least according to the speaker. A big problem with what he was doing was that he started making other Guardians start to question their place in the world, and this huge divide happened between most of the Guardians and following what the speaker was saying. The speaker, who is supposed to be speaking on behalf of the Traveler, when people start ignoring what he's saying in favor of experimenting with Vex technology and finding the true meaning behind the resurrections.
It endangers the city and the people as well. You know, it's implied that he inspired Kabir to take his fire team into the Vault of Glass, and that's where his entire fire team got erased from time except one guy. And
I think it was Kabir who just his memory remained anyways.
No, that's Pradith.
I have no idea where I am. My name is Pradith, and I was a member of Kabir's fire team. I just hope someone can hear this.
Praedyth. Oh, right, yeah. Praedyth was the one who
And Praedyth actually gave a lot of insight through recordings of the ghosts that he left, dead ghosts that he left behind, about the Taken as well.
Mm-hmm. Is any of this making sense to you, Andy?
You haven't said the word destiny, so I'm not sure if this. So who yes. Who are the Vex? Because that's something you bandied about.
Okay. The Vex are one of the alien races within Destiny. At first glance, they appear to be this race of machines that is bent on annihilation. In fact, they are one consciousness. It is one big glob of white goop, basically.
Vex milk.
Vex milk. There's so much about the Vex. How do we
Well, we can start off by explaining. Well, I guess like the Vex milk is, or the radiolarian fluid, it acts as a collective mind for all of them, and it flows throughout planets that they've taken over. So they're kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It seems that their goal is to
make everything Vex.
Make everything Vex, but also make everything work according to their pattern. Mm-hmm. The Vex exist outside of time. They have been trying to bend time to their will and change everything to fit their pattern and their view of what perfection is.
I'm not sure if they exist outside of time. I think they exist in their own time.
They exist in their own time?
Well, they see time in a different way that we do. They utilize and see time in a different way that we do.
Their role in this world is to shape it into their own. They have run countless simulations on humanity and on every species that they seem to have wiped out across the universe. There's one story within the lore of the Vex about the Ishtar Collective, which was this group of scientists that set out to understand the Vex.
So this happened in the Golden Age.
Yeah,
so
this happened way before Osiris was involved,
yeah.
Actually. This group of scientists...
like Maya Sundaresh and Choima Essie.
As well as, I think there's four of them in total.
There's four of them. And you can, in Destiny 1, you get to hear recordings from them during gameplay.
Basically, what they found when they started studying the Vex is that there was a simulation running of them. There was a perfect simulation of what was happening to them already happening within the Vex mind. Well, as they were looking into the simulation, they saw themselves looking into the simulation over and over again.
Well, they realized that they were in the simulation and they couldn't even know if they were simulated or not. And there were multiple copies of each of the scientists over and over again.
Yeah.
And they would look into different things. And well, I don't want to get too into the lore, but the scientists were working on...
This is called hidden lore.
Yeah. I don't know, the Ishtar Collective are my favorite piece of this the Vex lore.
Maya Sundaresh is known as the kind of the founder of Future War Cult, and they were actually working on something they call the device, and it's just called the device. There's no other name for it. I mean, the reason why Future War Cult is called Future War Cult because they can actually see into the future.
You talked about Osiris. You talked about the Vex. What do they have to do with what is going to be happening, possibly, in this new expansion?
It seems like the Vex have been trying to create the perfect timeline for themselves. They've been running countless simulations. They've been exploring every single possible timeline that exists.
And destroying timelines.
And destroying timelines entirely. And it seems like everything is sort of converging on this one point in time that Osiris has been trying to stop or trying to learn about. Like, he went missing so long ago that no one's actually sure of what he's been doing. All we have are these riddles that he's left within the Vex data that we've been pulling from.
And this is really exciting, too, because throughout all of Destiny 1, we didn't actually know who Osiris was. So for long-time Destiny players, they've been sort of teased about this Osiris character. And
what does he look like?
we didn't know until the recent trailer.
Until the new trailer.
Is the first time we actually get to see what he looks like in his face. I guess a lot of people associate what he looks like with Brother Vance.
Brother Vance. Oh, right, yeah. Brother Vance is the one who has been recruiting people to the ranks of Osiris and to this cult that's been following him.
He's leading people astray, basically. What's really interesting, though, is that he was a vanguard for the city, and as we know, the vanguards are Cade, Ikora, and Zavala right now, and it's kind of weird to imagine that Osiris used to be in Ikora's spot. He actually used to be her teacher, so in Curse of Osiris, it's going to be about Osiris kind of reconnecting with Ikora and her kind of not being unsure of like whether to trust him or not, but she knows that he's her teacher, so she knows that he's extremely wise and knows his stuff. So I guess she sends the Guardian in to check it out.
Based on the cinematic trailer that they dropped, it seems like Osiris is trapped within the Vex mind, and that we are trying to help him and pull him out.
Yeah.
And find out what's been going on all of these years, and find out what this big invasion is and why the Vex act the way they do.
And they kind of did tease this too in Destiny 2. There's a quest that you do where one of the characters, Failsafe, gets stuck in the Vex
mind.
The Vex mind for what was 10 minutes to us as we were playing the mission, but is decades or a decade for the character. And in it, she talks about having a conversation with another fellow prisoner, and it's implied that it is Osiris. So,
thank you, Captain. I have spent the last decade speaking with a fellow prisoner.
A decade? It didn't take us that long.
Time must work differently within the network. He was a very good listener. It's a shame I couldn't take him with me. He showed me a myriad of potentialities for this galaxy. How the Vex intend to shape them, I will share with your vanguard.
I'm so sorry I put you through that.
But you did, and I never forget those who wrong me.
I did not make that connection, actually.
So what are you guys hoping this DLC, this new expansion, will expand in the lore of Destiny?
Okay, so if you're watching this, you should know that there are spoilers coming out of this. The end of Destiny 2 had the speaker die. And so I'm really hoping that Osiris coming back into the fold, Osiris will become the new speaker.
I don't know.
Because I want someone there who is questioning the motives of the Traveler
but I think it's also important for
happening.
someone to have that kind of role that is not obsessed with curiosity, right? Because the speaker's role was not to be curious about other things, but to make sure that the city stands sturdy, and that's why it had been the last city and there for so long. I think that Osiris is dangerous for the city. But you know, it's interesting to see what he might do now that the speaker's not there, because the speaker was literally the reason why he's not in the city. So
at the end of Destiny 2, the speaker clearly said,
"Go. I speak for the Traveler. I never said it spoke to me."
I speak for the Traveler. I never said that he spoke to me.
Yeah.
So we have been blindly following this prophet who has never had any real contact with with the Traveler, with our God.
But
I want someone to be leading an exploratory.
So that people will die, more Guardians will die, and like the city will fall again?
Or we'll find out why we exist.
But I think the city is like the only safe place, right? I think that having he uses the Traveler as something that can focus all the Guardians, focus all the people in the city, but what his role is not to be the speaker for the Traveler, but to focus everyone and make sure, like, kind of be a leader in the city, to like keep everyone together and to keep hope.
But should we stay in the city? Should that be the end of this? Because
I don't think he should. Be the leader. Like, that's such an important role, right? And he has a lot of power. The speaker has a lot of power because even all the vanguards, when they make decisions, they have to have the speaker say yes to that, and it's always in with the city in mind. Osiris does not have the city in mind. He doesn't care about the city.
Well, Osiris has the greater picture in mind.
Then that should be a different group. Like, he can have his cult, but I don't think that he should be in charge of the city. He's not.
I think that we've been
Zavala
following the false
Zavala's
prophet for too long.
Zavala's
and that
a
we
better character for that.
Zavala ignored everything, though.
But
Zavala ignores all of the messages that come from Osiris.
Because literally everyone
Osiris is the only one who knows anything because he's gone out and he's explored the Vex mind and he's trying to figure out what's happening.
Having a leader is important, right? And a leader has to have certain attributes, right? Has to be able to lead people and have the people's interest in mind. You can't have a leader who doesn't care about your people, right? Zavala cares about protecting the city and keeping the city there. If Osiris is the leader, then it's just going to fall apart. Maybe
we shouldn't be protecting the city. Maybe we should be using dead orbit to fly to the stars and leave Earth behind. Because if the Traveler is not benevolent and is actually setting us up for failure, as Maya's device has shown time and time again to everyone who's used it, it shows the device shows the future to anyone who uses it.
It shows that no matter what, everything
either war is happening, the darkness has prevailed, or Earth has fallen. So why are we still on Earth? Why haven't we left?
Why are we still on Earth right now? We know that it's going to fall eventually. Like, either we're going to destroy it, or the sun's going to absorb it, or we're still here because we're living and we're doing stuff, and the city is there for those people who just are living.
Interesting takes here on Hidden Truth. Here's my takeaway. There's a god guy named Osiris that's stuck in milky space-time, and in this one, you're going to break him out, and it could do something good or bad. Thanks again for watching Hidden Lore.
Wait, there's somebody here.